Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the DJ and Heel Show. It is episode 29, and we have an esteemed panel today. As always, we got DJ with us.
Yo, it's like I pumped a steroid injection of life into your ass today. I fucking love it. Let's do this.
For returning to the show, we got Kefis.
From months of ducking me.
Yo, what's up, guys?
And we got a couple of virgins that we're going to pop their cherries today. First, let's introduce, we got Awful here. What's up, buddy?
Gentlemen, how are you doing? Kefis,
And
hello.
of course,
How
we
are
got
you, man?
JJ Alexander.
Yo, this is my second appearance of the day.
So the original concept of this show, we are still going to get into, and that's a conversation that, we started a couple of months back with Kepis that kind of tail ended one of our shows, but we do have to talk about the breaking news and that there is a new WWE champion in Sami Zayn. Clash of Champions, Night of Champions, whatever they called it, just happened, ended a couple hours ago, and Sami Zayn won the WWE title. So I just want to talk about that real quick.
And Twitter is currently losing their ever-loving fucking minds over it.
Are they?
I am loving every second of it. This is like Darby winning, but amplified more because people are actually watching this shit and actually care about this shit.
It's funny because everyone was ready to see the meltdown over Jey Uso, and Sam was like, "Hold my beer." So
pretty much.
But I just want to get everyone's thoughts on the title win, and we're only 5 weeks away from SummerSlam, so I just want to get quick thoughts where you think everything is going to lead to. So
we'll save the best for last.
All right, so let's start with Awful.
Sure. I thought the match was okay. I mean, the finish was stunning. I actually, I said for the last few months, like, I am now a registered casual fan, so I'm watching in and out, and I did not expect Sami Zayn to win. Of course, you guys are geniuses at this at this stuff. Some of you guys actually called this, but yeah, I thought I thought it was stunning. I did not expect Sami Zayn to win the world championship, which is kind of silly. I mean, is he going to be a transitional champion? Is he going to be long-term champion? Who knows? But yeah. Hitting Cody Rhodes as well, slipping on the banana peel, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, I ultimately have no issue with Sami Zayn, but a lot of people do. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on this.
Actually, he's one of the very few, if you want to consider that a clean pin on Cody, because technically it was a clean pin. It's a three-way. There was no real, shenanigans are in a three-way, but outside of that, it was a clean pin. So I think, how many people have cleanly pinned Cody since he's been back?
Not enough.
So
did you say not enough, JJ? I fucking love you.
JJ, tell me about your thoughts about Sami and the match, if you saw it, and all the other good stuff.
So my prediction was 10 months off because I predicted this happening at Mania next year. I predicted Sami coming out in full Arabic garb, winning the title, getting the huge pop, cutting a promo in Syrian afterwards. He did all of that. I was 10 months off. I was pleasantly surprised. Good match. I'm glad that it was a three-way without any weapons, like other than obviously the commentator table, which fine. But considering how much garbage we got in the steel cage match, I'm glad there wasn't a bunch of weapons and foreign objects in this. It didn't need it. I'm extremely happy for him. It's 13 years with the company. He finally wins the big one. And I think they were realizing that trying to turn him heel wasn't working as well as they wanted. And going forward, I think they realized that the move that they should have done is start turning Cody heel, because people are starting to not like Cody as much because he's fucking annoying. And I'm glad that we got this result. I wanted Gunther to win, but Sami winning, I have no issue with. And I just pray he's not a transitional champion, because we just saw him be a transitional champion with the U.S. title. We need him to hold this title for at least a few months. At least. He needs to start running the gamut of people who said that he couldn't do it. Like, he's like 0-13 against Drew. Let Drew come after him. Let him finally beat Drew. Shit like that. And I'm happy.
One thing I want to just say about the cage match, though, had weapons, but when was the last time we had a WWE cage match without interference? So, at least there was no one interfering in the cage match. That's what a cage match should be.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to go too deep into all that.
Yeah.
Kepis, what was your opinion on Sami winning?
Yeah, so the match was okay. It wasn't a bad match. I think it was probably the right move, as much as I don't like Sami Zayn. It was kind of predictable in a way because I mean all three contenders, you could see some merit to them winning. They teased Gunther versus Oba yesterday. And so if Gunther would have won, it would have made sense. If Jay would have won King of the Ring, and then went on to face Sammy, it would have made some sense too, because they have that family, quote unquote family connection. The only one that wouldn't have made, I guess it would have made a little bit of sense, is Cody versus Oba, this time for the title, running it back. But I think nobody wants to see Cody Rhodes right now. That's just the reality. Nobody wants to see him. He's been it's been a snooze fest for the last several months, last couple years, really, but especially the last several months. So I think mid-year, it was good timing for a change, for a little bit of a risk. I don't think it's a big risk. I do think Sammy is a transitional champion. It was a moment that he booked for, but I do think I don't know what it is. I couldn't care less if Roman loses the title, even though I like Roman. I don't care at this point. But I don't know what it is. I'm not really excited about Oba versus Roman. I'm not sure why people are. I don't see the appeal there, because Roman has his own storyline right now that's actually moderately entertaining to me. So I kind of want to see that through. I want to see the payoff on the bloodline stuff. But yeah, I think it was the right outcome, not a shock. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when with Sammy. And I think today's a good day for that.
I do have bad news, JJ. I do think it's going to be a transitional. I honestly don't think it's going to be more. I compared him earlier to Wildfire Tommy Rich. That's how short I think this is going to be. I honestly think Cody is getting it back at MSG. I don't believe they're going to go into SummerSlam without Cody being in one of those main events, especially with Punk coming back. Because then what?
Cody versus Punk doesn't need the belt.
But there's no story otherwise why they'd be feuding, especially with only
5 weeks to make one. I've worked with less time.
Hold on. Let me interject on this one. Let me come in, because I've been chomping at the bit at this one. So as far as my initial reaction of it, me and Brandon talked about this on the phone as this was happening and beforehand. I knew after SmackDown on Friday, there was a huge chance that Sammy's winning that fucking belt. Just from all the ways they presented it, Cody, and with all the points everyone's already made, is that already. I've been saying this for a year and a half. Cody's been bland as shit with the belt. Bland as fuck. Because they haven't been trying to tell any serious stories with him. It's just rinse, repeat the same shit every single time. And they don't. And with Randy and Cody, the thing with their feud is they didn't start telling the history of their story until literally the fucking package before the match at Mania. Like, that's literally when they started bringing up their history. So there's still so much more left of that story they can tell that doesn't need the world title right now. So let's get Cody and Randy is probably the plans for the rematch. They don't need a belt. It's honestly going to probably be some big stipulation match. Don't be shocked if it's like a strap match, some type of Dusty tribute, like a strap match or something, or, one of those type of old gimmicks. And I'm with JJ. Cody doesn't need the belt to rehash a feud with either Punk or Cody right now. And if Punk don't have a big feud, him and Cody's a huge fucking match for SummerSlam. Just them two talking, they can talk themselves into a fucking feud in 3 weeks. No problem. They got the history there. I'm not losing to Dusty's kid. That's all the fuck Punk has to say. As far as who's Oba's challenging next, it has to be Sammy. And I think they're going to do this quick transitional run to put the belt on Oba to run it back with Brock at some point. Because I don't think if they're not planning. Here's my thing with
I
Brock.
don't think so. DJ, how is Brock not going to be in a match versus Oba in his hometown? How is
Because
that?
hear me out, because I don't think the long-term plan is the Brock really retire until Saudi Mania next year. I think
That's a good possibility.
I think that they did the teasing thing because everyone is retiring and it looked somewhat legit. They did it as an angle. They did it clearly as an angle. Brock wasn't retiring. He still has too much left in the tank, loves getting paid a shit ton of money to do fuck all of nothing. And that Saudi payday is going to be fucking phenomenal for WrestleMania. I'm talking Brock's getting at least 15 mil for it, minimum, just to show up to have a 10-minute match. That's it. So
I will say this, DJ, to your credit, I will say this. My two theories are a Oba Sami squash match if they're bringing Oba in the same footsteps as Brock, like it was kind of like a Brock Kofi type thing because he's kind of following his trajectory. That's
yes.
one. Second would be, again, Sami gets a win or something on a weekly show because that's the tradition, right? Every champion has to win their first defense. And then
hear me out on at least what I think they're planning. I think they want the last match between Oba and Brock to be for the belt, to elevate Oba into at least to one more level. They want him to be a main eventer or bust.
That feud doesn't need a belt.
I think they're jumping the gun on it. Don't get me wrong. That's what I feel they're doing. But based on how they're pushing this motherfucker and presenting him, because I didn't think he was winning King of the Ring before this tournament. I thought Brock at some point was going to come back and cost him, which hasn't happened yet. So the only other option is they're putting the belt on this motherfucker.
Look, I don't think Oba needs the belt right now, but I don't think they know what the hell. They don't know what to do with this guy, dude. He's been fighting mid-carders. They don't like this dude is
because he got pushed too high too soon.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something we've talked about in the past. I'm not saying this is what I agree with. I'm saying these are the most likely possibilities.
The possibility that I'm seeing happening is.
But I'm saying, do you guys at least not agree with me when I say that that WWE would want to do Brock and Oba 3 for the title to elevate that match? Because those two guys can't do a gimmick. They're not
Here's the thing.
This is what I'm saying.
Before what happened today, I would say Oba Brock title match is probably one of the worst ideas ever. It's like a 3-minute match. Nobody wants to see that, right? But after today kind of the pivot today provided a few different pathways into like what we could see over the next few months. Whatever it is, I think all of us except for maybe JJ would agree that Sami's a transitional champion. He's not going to last very long. It's a moment.
Yes.
It's a Saudi moment.
100%.
Here's the scenario that they'll probably book out is because SummerSlam is a 2-night affair. What will happen is Sami will be facing Oba, and at some point, Brock makes a run in and lays out Oba so Sami can get the win. Oba grabs the mic and says, "I'm sick of this. I want you tomorrow night, and if I beat you, you leave and you stay gone." And then we get Brock versus Oba on night 2. Or the flip side of that is Brock calls out Oba. They do Brock and Oba on night 1. Oba goes into night 2, and even if he beats Brock and Brock has to stay away, Oba goes against Sami, and Brock still comes out and says, "Go to hell, this is my house," and screws Oba so Sami retains. One of those two things.
I had a similar idea.
At that point, wouldn't it be Oba Brock 4 at this point?
We know that they're not going to end it at 3. We know they're not going to. We know they're not going to rubber match it.
I have the mindset of they're ending it in 3. That's what I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this is the only guy they can put against Oba right now because they don't have anyone else because they shoved him right into that program and now they don't know what else to do. They've handed themselves into a corner.
I had something similar to what you were saying, JJ, real quick. Is for me, it was, Brock wants that number 1 contendership. So night 1 would be Oba Brock 3 for the championship opportunity at night 2. He would win, and then Oba goes on to night 2 to get the title match against whether
Hold on.
it be
First
Roman
off,
or whoever.
motherfucker, we're not WWE. You can call it a fucking title shot. Don't say fucking championship opportunity. The fuck is wrong with you?
He got used to the vernacular.
I know.
God damn it, Vince.
Good shit, pal.
So you don't
But go
think
ahead,
Brock
guys. Sorry, I had
Lesnar
to
will
correct
want
my
to have?
co-host.
You don't think he'll try to goad Obafemi into like putting his challenge on the line?
They could,
maybe
but then
for
that's
night
like
one.
so convoluted. Like
Not really. I mean,
It's not
See,
as we're
convoluted.
looking, it's kind
Brock
of
doesn't need a
convoluted.
title. Brock doesn't need a title.
He
No,
doesn't
see-
need it. He wants it. There's a difference.
I don't even think he wants it. As long as he's getting paid, he doesn't care if he's holding a belt.
Right,
because
but
that's
you
the
gotta
problem
go
is if he
within-
holds the belt, you got to keep bringing him back.
But you got to go within the storyline. So you could Brock wants Oba's title shot, but Oba wants his career. And so, like you said, do you lose this, you are actually done. So you do the title versus the career, the title shot versus the career, and then you lead into night 2. They've done it before. WrestleMania 40, they did a match on night 1 that had implications for night 2. So it's not beyond the realm of
So
possibility.
hold on though. See, and this is where I'm taking a different mindset from all of you guys. I don't think. I think that WWE right now thinks Oba is so hot, and he really is that fucking hot. I would say he's the most over person on that roster right now in terms of the reaction and how over he fucking is.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
His
It could be
entrance-
no,
his
like I
entrance
said,
is
it,
over.
That's
it-
pro
it could
wrestling.
be just the illusion, but to me
His
right now,
entrance is
Right, but
over.
it's overtly smoke and mirrors with this kid.
just hear me out real quick though. I think that with how over they're presenting him and how over he is, they will push him that strong and that fast and put the belt on him this quick. Again, with them putting the belt on Sami now instead of 10 months later, like how me and JJ initially thought, and possibly Kefis too, there's a reason they're doing this out of nowhere. I think they're gonna put that belt on Oba, and I think they're gonna give him a year-long title
I
reign
think-
after SummerSlam
I think they're
to
going to
try
put
to get
the belt.
someone else over.
I have a feeling they're going to put the belt on Oba as well. It's just a feeling, and I hope they do it because he is going to sink faster than we've seen anyone sink.
And that's going to
sink in
ruin their
recent
ticket
years.
sales. Like
It is. It is,
They're
but you
on
know
a
what?
high now, and
They-
they're about
they
to see a
gotta-
huge dip.
They got to figure it out, and this is how they're gonna figure it out the hard way. Oba's not ready, but they think he is.
I mean, he's going on a similar trajectory as Brock did back in 02.
To that point, what happened after they put the rocket on Brock and put the title on him? He got a huge head. He refused to work with almost everyone except who he wanted, and then he cut bait one day and said, "Fuck you, I'm out."
He got bored.
Yeah, he got bored.
But
You telling me
but
Obafemi ain't going to get bored? He never wanted to be a wrestler to begin with.
let's be honest though, Brock Lesnar is a different kind of person. We've heard the stories, you know. Even Paul Heyman this week was saying that he was getting fed up of just being OVW and was
Mhm.
like, put me on the main roster or cut me. So, you know, it might have been Brock's personality, especially at that time.
Absolutely, Brock has always
That's
been
an amateur
awful
wrestler's
person.
personality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like Oba, the way they've been pushing this kid, it's given him a big head. And that's the worst thing you can do is give
You think
someone
so?
this young a big head.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
The other-
I
interesting.
see it.
The other thing that came out, which I find interesting, I don't know if you guys saw it, is they actually did a backstage between Gunther and Nick Aldis.
Yes.
So I think
I saw that.
we're getting Gunther and Nick Aldis at SummerSlam.
If not at Saturday night's main event.
I don't think they're going to do it into the next
No,
2
before they
weeks.
did the angle, what I was thinking was after everything unfolded from the show, I'm like, okay, Gunther just lost. Oba's king of the ring. Sammy's champion. Maybe they are going to finally pull the trigger on Gunther fucking retiring Brock. That's what I thought until they did that angle. And after they did that angle, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not angry at them doing a Nick Aldis Gunther match. Because if there's anybody who can get a solid wrestling match, and I mean like a good old-fashioned wrestling match where it's about grabs, those are the two motherfuckers who are signed to WWE who can do it. And people being introduced to Nick Aldis as a wrestler and Gunther being the guy to introduce him, I think is the perfect like filler thing for Gunther to do until he gets another world title shot. Because I think that's an eventual plan after SummerSlam. Gunther's going to be back in the world title picture, either A, going after Roman if he's still the champion, or going after whoever is remaining between Oba, Sami, and potentially Brock.
And I'm going to steal DJ's joke, and they're going to put Mickey James' career on the line.
You motherfucker.
I gave you credit. I said I'm stealing it.
You did give me credit.
I was honest about it.
Imagine if they go full out with that match and they have Mickey in Nick's corner and
Sable. Oh wait, I'm
what do you
thinking.
call-
Oh,
no, Gunther's
I was
wife.
thinking
Gunther's wife.
yeah,
She retired.
yeah. I don't
I have
remember.
It's not
idea.
Kaylee Ray. It's not. It's one of the NXT UK girls. I just forget who it is, but they've been married a couple of years now. But if she was out in his corner too, like I always forget. Who the
I didn't
hell
even
was-
know he was married. So congrats to Gunther.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. It was one of the like super like main event people in NXT UK. Why do I not remember who it is?
Yo, we
Somebody
got to
will
turn
look it
that
up.
into like a game or something and have people like figure out every person in the wrestling business who's married to
Jenny.
someone.
Ginny, that's it. It was Ginny. Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Now Gunther needs to come out on WWE television talking about how he smashed his wife and made her make him a sandwich after.
No.
And just had her clean. And he threw her a rag and told her to clean herself up.
That was fucking hilarious.
With the
I
whole
don't care.
throw.
Let's get on to the main event of the show. A couple months ago, Kefis, DJ, and I got into it at the end of one of our shows. We were having a discussion about talents and whether they're actually main event players or they're actually just mid-carders who are taking that step over the line to be a main eventer. And I think a good example is Cody Rhodes. I think at this point, we've discovered that Cody is actually a mid-card guy pretending to be a main
Shit.
event guy.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it just based on the last two WrestleManias alone, their matches alone. So DJ,
I was one of the first people to sit here and point out that point after the WrestleMania match. Like, yo, we got to have this conversation with Cody. I feel like the year before when he had the bad match, okay, fine, we can give him some leeway because you know what, some people may not be ready for the spot or have an off night. But this past
The new
year,
car
with how
smell.
bad it was with Randy, and that's Randy fucking Orton, you had a bad match with. Like the angle after was better than the entire fucking match in general.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you got two back-to-back stinkers as the main event. Yeah, bro. The conversation we got to have about you is a bad one.
I've been calling out Cody's matches sucking balls since his NWA title match against Aldis at the first All In, which was a freaking abortion of a match.
well, before we get into it, lay down the parameters of the discussion.
All right. So the basis of the parameters that at least we all at least agreed upon this before the show is going to be, you have to have at least 2 world title runs. And I mean runs, like not just transitional champ where I won the belt for 10 seconds, then got pinned and cashed in on Money in the Bank. No, we ain't counting that shit. You have to have at least 2 serious world title runs, at least with 1 defense. And when I mean 1 defense, you defended the title once, not you successfully done it. You have at least defended the world title on a pay-per-view once. And then the second one, broadly we agreed upon, was you have to have main evented 4 pay-per-views because most of the people we are going to be talking about are within modern time. And main eventing pay-per-views is kind of how we can at least objectively state if you're a main eventer. And we're taking people's totalities of their career in, situation. We're not going to stick to just one company in one time period because there are some people in WWE who didn't just, wasn't par, but could literally main event anywhere else. WWE is the end all be all. I do agree with that point, but there are other places. It's not the end all be all into the totality of wrestling. There are people who mean something outside of wrestling to the whole degree who's never touched foot to WWE. Like for our first example, I'll state to you guys, the Briscoes as a tag team. Would you say they're main eventers or mid-carders?
Absolutely, main eventers.
I'd say Briscoe brothers are a main event tag team. Just because you feel me, that they were never granted the opportunity to go to WWE, but those guys were into the totalities of their career and what they mean to the overall wrestling business as tag teams and Ring of Honor alone. They are definitely main eventers, specifically Jay Briscoe as well.
But yeah.
I want to set one more, well, maybe not a parameter, but just kind of a clarification. Go
ahead.
The way I rate main eventers and mid-carders, and I hope that's what we can do on this show, it doesn't matter if somebody has held a world title for 2, 3, 4 times, whatever. That doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if a wrestler has spent a little bit of time in the main event. That doesn't make him a main eventer. A main eventer is made by the totality of their career, not just a 2 to 3 year push or whatever it is. So that
Also, hold on, and also another parameter I want to establish that we didn't talk about, but I thought was kind of an unwritten. We know this off the rip. Drawing power in merch sales and money, because that's the whole.
I
point
would have
of
been
wrestling.
bringing that up anyway.
No. I thought it was obvious to everyone who's in the fucking room. Obviously, you know what I mean. It's not like we're talking to anyone who's not smart enough to know you have to draw to be a main eventer.
But we also have an audience watching, so we need to, establish everything.
Which is why I'm saying it out loud. You feel me? I know it was unwritten between us all, but just in case anyone's watching and tries to call us out for not, what about drawing power? We're going to take that under consideration too, but I thought that was an unwritten rule.
All right, so Kepis, throw out the first name.
we could start with Edge. Adam Copeland.
Mid-card. I love him, but mid-carder. Upper mid-card though. Upper mid-carder at best. You can steal a few main events with him, but he was not a solid main eventer. He had no drawing power.
He
was
was
the
the
guy who
Intercontinental
worked with the guy who
champion in
made
the
money.
80s, I guess.
He's like on the line for me because I could kind of like the way he was pushed.
I can say that too. I'm barely saying no. That's why I'm saying upper mid card. I can't firmly call him a main eventer with other people we're gonna bring up and who's in the field.
Yeah,
when you're comparing him to like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Edge is hard for me. He has a lot of world title wins. He's like what 10 or 11 of them or something. But he's a tough one for me because I think most of his rise to fame and to the main event is like most of his main event run was done during kind of a lull period. I feel like with WWE. So I mean, I would probably classify Edge as on the cusp of being. I don't know, man. Edge is hard. Like if you
upper mid card, upper mid card is you're literally right there, and you can be a couple main events. You can work with the guy who is the main eventer, but it's not like you're going to be stuck there and featured prominently for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's an upper mid card guy to me in the totality of his career. I wouldn't put Edge in like an all-time GOAT conversation. He's a legend. Don't get me wrong. He is a legend, but like I feel like there's levels to this shit. It's kind of the same thing like when we're having NBA conversations. Like, Allen Iverson was great, but he wasn't as great as Kobe and Jordan.
Thing is with Edge is he's held pretty much every belt. He's won Royal Rumble, King of the Ring, Money in the Bank. He's a hard one. I don't even know why I started with him first, but he's a tough one. He's like the toughest one, I would say, because I want to call him a main eventer, but at the same time, I look at like his entire career, and he doesn't. To me, he doesn't have that.
No, it's crazy too because he literally fits the entire criteria, but I can't like to my heart say yes, he's a solid main eventer.
I'm going to guess that JJ disagrees based on his facial expressions during
He's a solid main eventer. You look at his main event runs, whether defending the title or going for the title, and it was always against other bona fide main eventers. He wasn't just there per chance. He got a crowd reaction. He was a draw during a time where, yes, there was a lull, but people still wanted to see Edge. Edge was cool. Whether he was a heel or a babyface, Edge was someone that people wanted to watch. So, yes.
Do we want to watch him wrestle, though?
Hold on. Caveat. Edge is a main eventer. Adam Copeland is not.
So, JJ, can I ask you a serious question? How many people has Edge gotten over in his career?
How many has he gotten over? Or are
gotten
you saying...
over? How many people has he elevated to or above his level? During his main event run,
during his main
always being the person who had to be elevated.
No, he didn't need to be elevated. You can't. There's certain people like you whatever dance partner you have, you either sink or swim. And every time you put him in there, it didn't matter who, like, he didn't have to elevate the other person. He had to make sure the match itself was marquee. Because obviously when you're putting him in there, guys against guys like Batista and Taker and them, like, they're already up there. They're in the upper echelon already. I'm saying that he hung with the big boys, and that's what counts. That when it comes down to brass tacks, that's what counts. And that's why the company put enough stock.
So the answer is no.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Him and Cena,
I see it the same way you do, but just kind of the opposite perspective. I kind of hold that against him, that it's not that he had to hang with the big boys. It wasn't really much that, you know what I mean? That the big boys had to hang with him.
He got people to care about Cena at a time where half the crowd was booing Cena.
Okay. All right.
The other half was saying, let's go Cena.
I'll defer on this one. I'll go with main eventer. I'll defer on this one. Because, like I said, it's a tough one. I feel like he's on that border. He's between upper mid-card and main event to me. Because to me, Edge isn't a guy who had like a strong amount of drawing power, and he always had to, you feel me? He was always working up to the people he worked with. I don't remember Edge ever elevating someone, and you know what I mean, to or above his level. Even with the Matt Hardy feud, he wasn't working down to Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy was already up there somewhat on the same level.
He was way more over than Matt during that.
Yeah, and did that catapult Edge into the world title picture?
Yes.
I can't remember. Okay, so that
it was the combination of the feud with Matt and then the Money in the Bank stuff, because he held on to that Money in the Bank for so long that when he cashed it in, that was a huge night.
Did he ever close out any Raws, by the way?
All right, so Edge out the way. Will unilaterally agree Edge is a main eventer, even though DJ did make his thoughts known.
Okay, JJ, throw out a name.
Damn, you got me on the spot here. Let me see.
If anything, I'll throw out an obvious name real quick just to get Brandon on the spot.
Go ahead.
Kenny Omega.
I have been saying I think he's a mid-carder.
I listen. I'm saying since signing to AEW, obvious main eventer. Obvious.
With the exception of those 9 months or 10 months that he was AEW champion, he did the belt collector stuff. What has he done since?
He's increased ratings every time he's come back for the show.
I'll argue that.
I'm not saying he's brought 100,000 people, but he has. You're seeing 20 to 25,000, maybe to 50K if you're lucky, increases during his segments and during shows he's on. You're goddamn right. Especially
how
after
can you
Moxley
put that
off
on
the belt
Kenny
and they
Omega?
start jumping.
Let me ask you something,
guys. I'm not about to say it's not my gimmick to bash on AEW. I'm trying to be objective here. Kenny Omega, objectively, to AEW is a main eventer. One of the few they have.
Point of order: AEW is a televised indie, so you're a main eventer on an indie. That doesn't mean you're a main eventer.
Like I said, he had a run with the title, and during that run with the title, he did the belt collector stuff. So he won the TNA title, he won the Mega Championship, all that stuff. After that ended, what has he done? And I know you could argue, he's been injured and he's been out, he's, all that other stuff. But every time he's around, he has not been in the main event scene, with the exception of stepping over that line, like we talked about, like a Kane. A Kane stepped over the line, he'd be in a pay-per-view main event, but he was not a main eventer. And Kenny Omega, to me, especially in New Japan, absolutely he was a main eventer. But to me, especially since he dropped that AEW title, has not been a main eventer in my eyes.
And I was gonna say, I want to get everyone else's perspective, because like I said, I just strongly disagree, especially in the context of how many main eventers they actually have in AEW. I'm sad to say Kenny's one of the few. I don't like to admit it. I don't like Kenny Omega. I'm not a fan of Kenny, but I'm being objective here. He's a main eventer in AEW.
Okay, yeah, no one's going to argue with that. He is a main eventer in AEW. Anywhere else?
But Darby Allin's
I was going to say, at least Awful is catching the context of my words. In AEW specifically, if we throw that motherfucker in WWE, upper mid-carder at first.
fails.
Oh, no,
Ricky
he fails.
Stark
I'm saying
status.
upper mid-carder at first. He'll be featured, but all of his weaknesses will be exposed immediately. How he can't cut a fucking promo. He only can work one way, and he can't work with anybody unless they can work that one way with him. He'll drop down to the undercard and comedy section sooner than later in WWE.
But
That's the honest and factual truth. But to sit here and say that Kenny Omega right now, through the totality of his career, featured in New Japan and AEW, is not a main eventer, I think is objectively wrong. I'm just saying looking at it from all sides.
I will compare him to AJ Styles in WWE.
Main eventer.
Because AJ was not a main eventer.
Fuck out of here.
I'm
He's
sorry,
right.
he was not.
He's right.
So are we pivoting
What?
to AJ Styles
Wait.
now?
Who's right? JJ.
Sorry, Brandon, you're right.
You're saying he's right. I'm saying we're not switching over to AJ Styles. I'm just using it as a comparison to how AJ is in WWE is how Omega is in AEW. And that's my argument there. Yes, Kenny is popular. He's a legend because of his time in New Japan. He's over in AEW because he's one of the boys. But based on his career itself and the totality of his career in the last 7 years, he is not a main eventer. He was pushed into the main event for a short time, but he is not a main event guy. Most of the matches that he has main evented, most of the pay-per-view matches he's main evented in AEW has been those gimmicked multi-man matches. He's had maybe, again, with the exception of the year he was champion, obviously he was in those main event. From losing that title to now.
Everything after the world title, after he dropped a belt, he's been hurt. He's been around a total of maybe 6 months.
That's not true. He's been around a lot more than 6 months.
Okay, 8
in the
months.
last 4 years.
Not really. He's taken
Man's had 4
a year and a half
returns
off,
since
and then
being in
after he came back,
AEW.
he took another 6 months off hiatus, and then he just came back from a break. He literally just came back from another break.
His 5th return. Got quiet in here.
Jeffis, what's your opinion on Kenny Omega?
WWE mid-card, if he ever were to be in WWE. But AEW, I'd probably classify him as a upper mid-card, not a main eventer. He dabbles. I classify Kenny Omega more as a mascot than anything, honestly.
No, we're not talking about Orange Cassidy here. Stop that now.
He's Kenny's when you think of AEW, you think of Kenny Omega, not because he's a main eventer, but just because he's kind of a mascot for AEW. But I would classify him upper mid card.
Awful. What about you?
As far as Kenny Omega or my pick for who's like a mid-carder?
No,
That is
Kenny
the
Omega.
question. Oh, he's not a main eventer in AEW or anywhere else. I understand where DJ's coming from, but see, I guess my criterion is a little different. Like, are you a household name? And Kenny Omega is not one of those guys. He's not somebody that you clamor to see wrestle. You can put him in the main event. Sure, they're going to put him in the main event against Will Ospreay at some point.
I think to a regular indie video game nerd who chills in their basement and masturbates
he's the greatest
all
thing
day,
since sliced bread,
which is 90% of the AEW audience. They fucking love Kenny. I'm sorry, that's the objective truth. He's a main eventer to them. I agree with y'all.
Yeah,
but
really.
DJ, that's moving the goalpost, because there are a lot of people, and there are a lot of people on X that would tell you Finn Balor or Sami Zayn or Chad Gable are all main eventers, right? So I literally had a dude arguing with me a month ago or 2 months ago, right before he got released, that Aleister Black is a main eventer, and I told him, dude, there's no way he's a main eventer. And a week later, the dude was released. So I mean,
let me throw you guys another AEW one to kind of keep a fair comparison, real quick. Swerve Strickland, main eventer or mid card?
Mid card. Stop.
Mid card.
Okay, all right. Then I'll give it to y'all. Y'all got it. I'm not gonna argue about it.
Now I'm gonna hit DJ back with the one that hits him. Scott Hall.
best mid carder of all time.
I never got to
Main
watch that
eventer.
action.
What main
Mr.
what main event titles has he won? What world titles has he won?
I will always make the Piper argument for Scott Hall.
Piper's a mid-carder
He
too.
himself was the attraction. he had draw power.
Piper's a mid-carder too, bro. So it makes sense. I mean, what he had one.
I wouldn't say Piper's a mid-carder. Come on.
One.
He's main event WrestleMania.
Yeah. It was a tag
mid-carder.
match, dude. That's the only thing he's known for. I mean,
Yeah, but he's a
as
household
far as-
I mean,
name.
technically, the boxing match was the main event of the WrestleMania in the city he was in.
I mean, Roddy's a legend. Don't get me wrong. He's a legend, but he is one of the greatest mid-carders of all time.
I wouldn't say Roddy's a mid-carder.
call
I'm
him a
sorry,
mid-carder
Scott
either.
Hall though. Scott Hall is a mid-card guy. He's never been in the main event. If he was in the main event in WCW, it was in some tag match with the NWO. He
With
never
Kevin
held
Nash or
his
Hulk
own.
Hogan.
Okay,
He was-
so just the established president, Jey Uso's definitely a mid-carder then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Hell
he is
yeah.
not. But
All
despite
right, no,
despite the nickname,
as long as I'm establishing
main
said
eventer.
president and y'all are keeping along said line, I'm with y'all. Y'all got it. I'm not gonna
Hold
argue
on.
with y'all.
JJ said that Jay is a main eventer. Let's hear his.
Because he is.
All right. Based on what?
No, he's not.
Dollars. That's what it's based on. Dollars and cents.
That means
Wait,
Danhausen's
no,
a main
but that's the
eventer.
argument
That
I'm
means
making on
that means
Scott Hall.
That means Danhausen's a main eventer. No, look.
Danhausen's a short-term investment.
No,
Jay has been selling
Uso-
merch for
Jey
5
Uso is a
years
moment.
now.
He's a moment. He's a
moment that's been
and he's a
going on
moment.
since fucking COVID.
What? No, it hasn't. It's done.
Bullshit. Jay
Ow.
started
Shit,
getting
JJ
the
took off
push.
the glasses.
Jay started getting the push when he started being Roman's bitch, and they were like, Jay needs to go after Roman. That was the beginning of it. That was
Okay.
during the fucking pandemic. That was 5 years
And?
ago. And since then, Jay has done nothing but sell merch and get the whole crowd to pop the second he comes out every
And?
time.
Hold on. Before you go, Captain.
So you're telling me crowd reaction and money
Hold on.
don't count towards being a main eventer?
Is
Give me a fucking break.
Are you calling Jack Perry then? In that case, a main event? Like,
Tell
dude,
me when Jack Perry has sold a goddamn dime or fucking
I was
had the
gonna say,
Jack
that's
crowd
not
pop for him
terrible.
The
more
crowd
than
goes
once in a
wild
fucking
for
indie.
the crowd goes wild for the guy. It means nothing though. It's meaningless. Jey Uso's not a main eventer. He's a guy that dabbled in the main event.
When
That's
was the
it.
last time the crowd went wild for fucking Jack Perry? Then it wasn't them singing along to Tarzan Boy because they like the fucking song.
Isn't that
Okay,
isn't
wait,
that what
but
every wrestler is? Isn't that what Jey Uso is? He's a
No.
he's a song.
Hold on, guys, hold on. We're going too far down the Jey
No,
Uso
but hold
rabbit
on,
hole,
hold
'cause
on.
I
I'm gonna
still
say
wanna go back-
something.
I
I'm
want to
gonna
get
say
back to
something.
Scott Hall.
I'm gonna
because
say
Scott
something,
Hall's
DJ. Hold
part
on,
of that
hold on.
criteria then. If he's
I'm gonna
making the
say
argument.
something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something. A lot of people. There's a lot of people out there. I was at WrestleMania. There's a lot of people out there like Sami Zayn who will come out, get a massive crowd reaction. Jey Uso, massive crowd reaction, and then crickets and shit during the match because that's all they are is a entrance and merch. That's it. That doesn't make them main eventers. I'm never ever gonna equate Jey Uso to the likes of Roman Reigns or Hulk Hogan or Brock Lesnar. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
No, and I agree. I agree that there's I agree to somewhat to the point that you were making that there are levels to this shit. Ergo, again, with Scott Hall and Razor Ramon and what Scott Hall meant to WCW when he left and transitioned there.
But you know
I'm
what?
saying
That's a good
specifically
point.
because of the impact he had.
That's a good point.
Main eventer. Only
That
main
doesn't
eventers
make-
can have
Listen,
that type of impact.
Listen, I
in
love
terms
Scott.
of ratings,
I-
in terms of television, in terms of making a shift. I understand that Hogan joining the group added the T to the top, but the outsiders angle is and them doing
Scott
that is
Hall-
also what helped.
But that
drive those
Hall
ratings.
that was him
is
being
better
assisted.
than Jey Uso could ever be in his entire career.
Listen,
by
I
far,
love-
Jey
I
Uso
love-
won't even amount to a tenth of Scott Hall's career, and that's
No,
precisely why. That's
to my
precisely
point.
why Jey Uso's a
like I said,
mid-card.
that's my point was for Scott Hall. That's just making all my point for Scott Hall even more. That's all I'm saying. We can continue down this Jey Uso rabbit hole now, but that's all I'm saying.
You want me
Scott
to ruin
Hall
your
did
fucking hopes and
directly
dreams
impact.
real quick?
Go ahead.
You want me to? Yeah. So I love Scott Hall to death. I have broke bread and drank with Scott Hall when he was still alive. And I will tell you, Scott Hall said from his own lips, I never wanted to be fucking world champion. I just want to get fucking paid.
Well, you got to be in the main event to do that, don't you?
No, he got paid. The thing
Oh, he
is,
got paid.
you make a good argument about how intricate he was when the NWO first kicked off, but you need to realize that he was there alone for a couple of weeks before Kevin Nash showed up. Then he was part of the Outsiders. He had assistants. Then Hogan showed up, and he was part of the biggest stable in the history of wrestling. I love Scott. Scott's a mid-carder, and Scott has admitted it.
No, if Scott's admitted it, I'm not going to argue with him. I just make the argument based on the impact he had and the time of the period that he had said impact. You know what I mean?
He was
it's not
okay,
it's not,
but DJ
wrestling didn't have eyes on it. It was
in
during
that very brief amount of time, sure, but you're talking about a period of like 6 weeks.
But it's also the Stone Cold argument. I think it's kind of the same Stone Cold Steve Austin argument everyone makes when they make the Steve Austin argument of him being the GOAT, because Austin had the hottest prime ever, but he didn't have the longest. He had the hottest period anyone could ever have.
Austin was over like a sumbitch when he wasn't even working and injured.
Stone Cold
no, that's what I'm saying though. But I'm saying in terms of longevity, Austin didn't have it in terms of a GOAT conversation. In terms of a Cena, a Roman, or a Hogan.
Stone Cold is a different. He's a different beast. The reason for that is because his career was cut short for various reasons, whether it was creative disagreements or his neck injury or whatever it was. But his rise was unlike anyone else's. And
no, he was the most, again, I stated, he's the most over person in the history of ever. No one has ever gotten, he's basically God in wrestling. No one will ever achieve to be as over as Stone Cold Steve Austin in the history of ever. It's impossible. Like you cannot fabricate how over Stone Cold Steve Austin was, but he didn't have the longest longevity of his prime.
I understand what you're saying. I think Hulk was more over though.
You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying in terms of this whole argument, in terms of Scott Hall being a main eventer or a mid-carder. I agree based on his presentation throughout his career. Yes, mid-carder at best. But I'm saying in the totality and the impact of his career, and if you actually look at it with everything else that followed throughout history, Scott Hall's a main eventer.
Scott Hall is one of the best supporting characters of all time. He's literally in my probably top 5 wrestlers ever. I love Scott Hall a lot. I mean, I have a lot of respect for the guy.
It's a tough, like I said, this one's a tough line for me though. Like it's not like I'm not vastly arguing with y'all saying he's mid-card. Y'all not, you know what I mean? There are some people who are going to say it, and some people are going to be like me, like, nah, I think Scott Hall's a main eventer just because, again, the totality of everything wrestling.
Right, awful. Throw us a name.
Somebody who I always wanted to be a main eventer, but just wasn't like, he wasn't there. But I think Rick Rude was awesome. And I think that he is main event status. Now, of course, he was the world champion for a cup of coffee, but no, he wasn't. Wait a second. What am I talking about?
World class.
He was the international champion.
Right. But yeah,
and he was the world champion down in World Class.
Yeah. So I think that, he wasn't given his due. I know that's a different subject, but yeah, I believe Rick Rude is a main eventer, was always a main eventer.
So that's a good one, Awful, because it depends on where you're looking at it. If you're looking at the totality of his career in general, yes, main eventer. Yeah. Other than WWE, he was always prominently featured wherever the fuck he went. Prominently
like Scott
featured.
Hall.
It wasn't like, other than the first 2 years, he was breaking in and was green as fuck. But once he got his spot, he knew how to keep it.
I think Rick Rude falls into that category of just being in WWF at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because him, Mr. Perfect, Ted DiBiase, these are all guys that anywhere else
main
with
eventers.
Those characters would have been main eventers, but because it was Hogan's time, they were never going to break into that main event status.
DiBiase especially too. DiBiase is definitely a good name to throw in there, because I would say DiBiase for the totality of his career was the main eventer. Just his WWE run, when he went to the big leagues, quote unquote, to WWE, that's where he didn't make it, and it kind of soured the rest of his career. But you got to look at the totality of things.
But he was the top heel in New York in WWE, WWF. Again,
for a short period of time, though, not compared to his other runs.
No, he was always the top heel. He always worked top as a heel.
Yeah, that
He
started
wasn't
waning
always-
around 92, and that's why they put him in the tag team division.
Well, wasn't his body also breaking down around that time?
He wasn't a manager for a couple of years until a few years after that.
Wasn't he involved in
Right,
that
but you go to a
Lords of
tag
London
team-
thing?
The what? The what?
The Lords of London insurance debacle.
He was one of the guys that was insured through Lloyd, same as
Right.
Mr. Perfect.
So that kind of curtailed his career. I'm sure that did the same thing with Kurt Hennig as well. Vince didn't like
Wasn't
that
Rick
shit.
rooted with that too? The Lloyds of London.
I believe he had a Lloyd's policy too. Yeah.
I'll
All
give you
right,
guys
hold
an
on.
easy one. Sting.
Main
Main eventer.
eventer. Let's stop.
Main event.
Everywhere, literally
Next.
everywhere he went, main eventer.
Main event.
Yeah. He's not my cup of tea, but yeah, main eventer.
Everywhere. Like, there's not a company he wasn't a main eventer in. AEW, definitely a main eventer. We have to admit that everyone can admit Tony overpushed that motherfucker to the moon.
And
WWE
But,
undefeated
but you know what? In
60-year-old.
all honesty, that's based on the length and the longevity of his career.
No,
That's
I'm
the
saying I was just about to
Yeah.
state everything. Even his short run in WWE was pushed as a solid main eventer, was in basically the title feud or a feature prominent
Well,
WrestleMania match.
he's been a champion in WCW, NWA, TNA, like everywhere. Everywhere he's gone, he's been a champion. So he's
Champion and featured prominently
Yeah,
as the main event, like as
he's an icon.
one of, if not
honestly.
the top guys.
And a
So
household
yeah,
name.
Sting.
Yeah.
So
All
here-
right,
here's the one I want to kind of
This
throw out
one
here for
I
you
get
guys.
a lot of pushback on X. Finn Balor,
Mid-card.
Mid-Carter.
hella mid
Mid-card.
card.
He's
The
as
only
big
place
as
he was
I am.
featured prominently was NXT.
Potential.
Do I
main
look like a
event.
main eventer?
He's not there now, but there's still time.
No, he's been there for like 12 years. He's been there as long as Sammy.
He's in his 40s.
They're afraid
I
of
mean,
pulling the trigger on him because of the fact that he got hurt the night they invented the Universal title. I still
Yeah,
think
that'll
that there's a
that'll
chance-
stamp you forever.
right. But that's like I said, he's mid card now, but he has potential still. Even at his
So-
age, he's in amazing shape. And all it takes
Let
is
me
the right
throw one out there
opportunity.
for you guys real quick, because I got a really crazy one. Triple H.
What
Because
about
I think Triple H, because someone made the argument to me the other day when I was talking about this conversation, and I'm kind of on the side that Triple H might be one in kind of the Cody position and might have benefited from being the in-law. Maybe it's
I
just me.
will always dispute that because he would have gotten pushed the same exact way. I think of that.
I think so too. Yeah.
That's always going to hang over his head, and that's always going to be an excuse. But he was getting pushed to the main event prior to his relationship with Stephanie.
Listen, I
Not to
just
mention-
wanted to pose that one out there to,
But by the
just a
criterias,
thought.
but by the criterias that we brought up before, JJ, I'll give you the floor in 1 second. By the criterias, he's a main eventer. Go ahead, JJ.
Not to mention the fact that there's one thing that will burst the bubble of so many people on the internet that they don't like to hear it. They keep talking about Trips' reign of terror, yada, yada. He was booking himself, yada, yada. When Trips was put into that main event picture scene there, that was after WWE became a publicly traded company, and the fact that there was a 15-person creative team. He was not booking himself. That's what they were booking. Even if Vince had final say and he could say, it's my son-in-law, he was still a proven draw during that time.
And he
And
drew
haven't
heat.
We've established that Vince doesn't give a shit about family. It's
Right.
all about what's best for business.
Yeah.
He literally fired Shane when Shane was pushing himself
Mhm.
to like do all this stuff in the Royal Rumble a couple years
Right.
ago. He sent them
Right.
home.
Yeah.
So I that's why I'm saying when people say, Triple H did this, Triple H was in Vince's ear, bullshit. If it wasn't making Vince money, he would have vetoed it. It doesn't matter if you're a freaking family or not.
So
Oh, okay, all right, hold on.
So
I got one more
I
too.
think Triple H. I think Triple H is a main eventer, but I'm gonna classify him the same as Edge. Like a big chunk of his career was during what I consider a pretty decent lull period in the company. But nevertheless, he's still a main eventer. He still contributed to the Monday Night Wars. I mean, you can't really take that away from Triple H. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I think that's what it is with him.
You know what it is about Triple H and
DJ.
both him and both Edge is like they kind of kayfabe style, they kind of earned their way into that main event picture. They both won the Intercontinental Championship. We already know where that leads to. So it's just like, okay, what's the next logical step when you're the Intercontinental Champion and business isn't all that great? You got to put them in the world title picture. And that's exactly what they did with both Triple H and Edge. I noticed Triple H, by the way, was not featured prominently in the SummerSlam advertisements for this year, nor in the Night of Champions promotion packages. So they might be weaning away
DJ,
from Triple
make sure
H
you
as
cover-
a focal point. Sorry.
DJ, cover Leo's ears. Rey Mysterio.
No,
I was gonna
gonna
that
fucking
was my
say, I
curveball.
hate you because I was gonna fucking do it, you asshole.
I was
you
gonna say-
motherfucker. I was trying to sneak that one in
Absolute-
before you did it, you bitch.
Absolute legend, Mid-Carter.
Yep. Mid Carter.
Wow.
Mid-Carter.
Okay.
Mid Carter.
God damn it. You know what? I gotta after serious consideration, I gotta be the one to disagree with you motherfuckers. I think
I
Ray
do
might be
too.
the one. I think he's a main eventer. In terms of where he is and what he means in the context of Lucha Libre and everything else.
And that's
I
all well and
understand in the
good.
WWE context of things, he's upper mid card at best. But if we're looking at the totality of his career as a whole, definitely saying Rey Mysterio's a main
Look at
eventer.
when he was world champ. It was a joke.
Okay, so I have a feeling JJ will agree with this. True or false? If Eddie did not die, Rey Mysterio would not have been world champion at the time he won it.
True.
True. You don't even have
It
to
would have
ask
been
me.
a
I'll
year
say that
later.
every
He
other
would have
time.
beaten Eddie
That's
Guerrero
true,
for
but
it.
I do think Eddie Guerrero is overrated because he passed away young. I think
No.
had he had a full career,
No.
I don't think he would be as overrated as he is now.
Kefis,
My
bro.
argument about
overrated
Eddie
at
is
all.
he would never if Brock wasn't taking his ball and going home, Eddie wouldn't have been world champion.
God, what's
Both
going on
Eddie
here?
and Ray were world champions, and Christian Cage all became world champions due to circumstance, not because they were seen by the machine as being world championship material.
No. So Brandon, that's the one point where I vehemently have disagreed with you in the past, where I think Rey Mysterio would have eventually became a world champion no matter what. I do agree with you that Eddie dying definitely expeded the timetable up a bit. But I still think it would have eventually happened.
Then why
at
did he
some
never get
point.
another chance other than that 25 minutes he was champion against before Punk walked back out? That was the only other time he won a world title. He was
They've
champ
made a
for
lot of
half
money
hour.
off of Rey Mysterio. He's a merch seller, man.
And
that dude
I was gonna say, in terms of
that dude
drawing
is
power,
over-
we
that
can't
dude is
deny
over
he's
with
not a
everybody.
draw, even though he doesn't have the accolades. He's definitely one of their biggest draws ever.
Yeah, but he is a mid-carder still. Despite all of that, despite him being over with the fans, despite the tens of millions of dollars in merch that he's sold, despite the recognizable face worldwide, he's a mid-carder.
See that
But to that
I'm
point-
taking impact into consideration. That's all. That's just me. I understand it's my personal opinion in this, and I'm stating that is that, not a fact.
You
So I
can,
don't want
you
anyone
can,
yelling at
you
me
can
from the
steal
internet.
a town with Ray, no doubt. You can steal a town.
You can
But
steal a whole
JJ, he
country.
actually held it
If
through-
Vince had the way, if he had the wherewithal to go down to Mexico at the time, like they're doing now, Rey Mysterio would have been world champion easily.
Well, I'm
And
pretty
so
sure
would
before
have
Ray retires in a
Guerrero.
year, that he's going to win the fucking AAA title.
That would be
and
stupid.
JJ,
But anyway,
he won it 3 times.
He won it 3 times? What's the third
He
time?
won it
that
3
I'm
times. He
forgetting?
won it when he won it for 112 days when he won it at Mania. Then he
Uh-huh.
held it for a month when he won it in 2010, and then there was
Okay.
the 25 minutes on Raw.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I want to actually push back on something that JJ said earlier. He called Jey Uso a main eventer.
I was waiting
due
for
to-
this.
Yeah. Well, if you can't call, if you agree that Rey Mysterio is a merchant and makes them and sells the money and calling him a mid Carter, then at the same time you got to say
Jey
the same
Uso
thing about
got-
Jey Uso.
True.
Show me a spreadsheet of merch sold to date between the two, number one. Number two, like I said, you can steal a town with Ray. You can put Jay in the main event and any fucking Raw they go to or any PLE they do, and people will still buy it. People will still go. right?
I will argue they're not buying it for Jey Uso. I would argue that.
But you
I
can
don't
put him
think
there and people will buy it.
But you can make the exact same argument for Mysterio in his prime when he was hot.
When Ray was out, they put the title on him and it didn't matter. He wasn't drawing.
Exactly the same thing with Jey Uso. When Jey won the title, he was not drawing. Shows went down, attendance went down, ratings went down. Media impressions.
You mean to
went
tell me
down.
in the 2 months that he was champion, houses went down? Because I'm pretty sure I was still hearing sellout crowd every time they went on the air.
No, that's actually when the sellouts stopped being mentioned on television.
Well, let me ask you, JJ, was, honest to God, was it the product itself that was selling out, or was it Jey Uso?
Well, that's an entire conversation of the reason.
Yeah,
why I
well,
fucking
you can't give Jey Uso credit that, you know, the houses were still selling out when he only held the title for 50 days. They wouldn't have pulled the title off of him if he was doing better than, you know, that.
Right,
And,
but
you know,
DJ over here is saying in those 50 days, all of a sudden there was this mysterious drop in WWE programming.
There was a big enough trend to where they took the belt off him immediately.
They
took
already
the
on
belt
a
off him because they wanted the moment at Mania, and then they said, wait a second, he doesn't need the belt to still be over. That's the sign of a main eventer, when they do not need the title to stay as over as they are.
I will say that WrestleMania 41, they were already on, you know, the downtrend. So I don't hold Jey Uso responsible of less ticket sales, but I don't believe, you know, he's a main eventer. If you're going to classify Rey Mysterio as a mid-carder who sells merch, then you got to put Jey Uso in that same position. But okay,
I'm saying in the totality of everything, Rey Mysterio has definitely drawn more interest, more money, and more memories than Jey Uso.
Ray's also been working for 30 years. Jay's been working for 11. Not 11. Sorry, not 11. Sorry. 16.
I was about to say 17, he's been in WWE 17. For 14.
17. No, he's been since I was looking back to my mind went to something else for a second. I was looking back to FCW and my mind like wrong number came out, but yeah, 17 years. Sorry. So Ray's been working twice as long as Jay. And also Ray is built into the Lucha Libre subculture, which has its own following.
Jey Uso is built into the Samoan subculture.
Yeah, but the Samoan subculture was a waxing and waning thing for many, many years. No one gave a fuck about Samoans for quite a long time after Alpha and Sika retired.
Seth Rollins, upper mid-carder, Brandon.
Main eventer. Tyler Black, mid-carder. Seth Rollins,
he's a main eventer only when he's main eventing WrestleMania with Roman Reigns involved. That's it.
And Seth's Cody Rhodes.
He's main evented more pay-per-views than WrestleMania as champion.
True.
No less. Definite main eventer. There hasn't been a motherfucker outside of Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns who have main evented more pay-per-views and have been in more title fucking matches than those two.
Yeah.
Maybe Brock Lesnar. Maybe. That's it. Main eventer
card, bro.
Main eventer. No, by every criteria you raise it on, other than your feelings, main eventer.
My feelings say
I'm going to shit on DJ's. Then by that argument, Moxley's a main eventer too, correct?
No.
Yes, he is in AEW. Yes,
in AEW, which is a televised indie, so it doesn't count.
Within AEW, Moxley is a main eventer. In WWE, Dean Ambrose is not a main eventer. No,
he wasn't. I like Dean Ambrose's character. He was not a main eventer.
So hold on. Fuck. Now I really got to break this down and think about it, because in AEW, yes, he has the accolades, and he in terms of accolades, yes, but for the past year and a half, I don't know. I think it's proven he's upper mid card at best.
Can we just say something about AEW and accolades? When a company has over 17 titles, there's no such thing as an accolade. It's participation trophies. So just toss that out the window.
But right. WWE just has just as many titles.
No. Okay, because
it's parsing them out.
Look at the main
properly.
roster. Main roster, yeah, it's parsing them out properly. Main roster, you have a head champion on both shows, a mid champion on both shows, and a tag champion on both shows. Men and women. That's the thing, is they say WWE has as many belts. It's because they have a larger women's division that actually gets used. That's why. But then you look at AEW and it's just belts for the sake of belts for the sake of belts.
Yeah, no, and
I'm
see
not
the
gonna-
argument I make with Moxley, and hear me out. The reason I say Moxley is an upper mid-carder is because John Moxley, outside his initial year in AEW, has no drawing power whatsoever.
Exactly.
None.
Do you okay?
He does
So
not draw.
Okay,
If
but hold
anything,
on,
he pushes,
You're
he
talking about
pushes
you brought up
motherfuckers away from the
Moxley's
product.
name, TJ. You brought up Moxley's name. Obviously, he wasn't a main eventer in WWE, so
Right.
you can only be referring to his tenure in AEW. In AEW, if you say Moxley is not a main eventer, that means literally the only main eventer they have is MJF, and that's it.
No, that's how I feel about y'all motherfuckers saying Kenny's not a main eventer.
Technically, as much as I hate to admit it, Jericho in AEW is a main eventer.
no,
What?
No,
he's not.
no,
fuck
Jericho
you
in
going-
AEW, no. Other than the first year, no. It's same. You could
If
apply the same thing to
60-year-old
Moxley to
Sting was a
Jericho.
main eventer, old ass Jericho is a main eventer.
Even
I
That's
disagree.
why he
I
was
think
their
in-
first champion.
because of his name. That's the only reason.
Name value doesn't that equal a main eventer?
Okay, but what has he done since that? What has he done in the six and a half years since?
I'm saying in the scope of things, you're like, if that's the case, only MJF is a main eventer. I'm like, no, because Jericho sadly still has name value.
Chris
I would say
Jericho
still
was not
is,
the face of a
and
company.
also
Sting was.
Let's take under consideration totality of his career. Are we saying for Jericho's entire career he was a main eventer, or was it just kind of a short stint?
Short stint.
Like, come on now. I think Jericho.
Well,
was
I'm not
mid-carder.
arguing. I'm not arguing to say Jericho's a main eventer. I'm just saying if you're going to keep bringing up main eventer in AEW, this is what your technicality is because it's a fucking televised indie.
Do you feel, let me ask everyone, do you feel if Moxley never left WWE, he would be on that same echelon as the Roman and Seth Rollins, though?
Yeah,
Possibly.
Sadly, yes, because
Possibly.
he's tied to them.
yeah. Because remember that I mean, WWE has had lull period after lull period after lull period, and you throw in a Dean Ambrose with Seth and Roman again, and I think you're going to have a little bit less of a lull period. I think it would have been a lot better. It would have been a lot better for him and his career.
He had way more character.
I think Dean Ambrose is kind of this. In terms of Dean Ambrose, you got to think of the Scott Hall effect, just because he's kind of tied to them. You know what I mean? Like he, on his own, if he was his own entity, we obviously see in AEW he has no drawing power. Nobody gives a shit about him, and he has nothing but bad and terrible ideas. But if you throw him in WWE and the fact that he's tied literally to the two biggest stars that WWE have been pushing for the past 10 fucking years, yes, Dean Ambrose is going to mean a fuck ton of everything to that. Because the Shield is the probably third greatest faction WWE has organically ever made ever. Outside of Evolution and
Strike Force.
Actually, no, I'll name them second.
DX? You're not going to name DX?
No,
DX.
Shield is way better than DX. I think DX gets over glorified because who's in fucking
I don't know,
charge?
bro.
I don't remember too much of anything going on with fucking the Shield as compared to DX. DX was ushering in a whole new fucking era.
DX merchandise still
Shield
sells
do?
to this day.
Yeah, I mean, come on, stop with that. There,
You're talking
DJ.
organic.
Showing your age.
DJ's looking at the latter part of DX when it was just Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and the beginning when it was Triple H and Shawn Michaels, but he's not including the middle part when it was the five of them with China, and that's the big chunk of DX as being one of the top factions who are organically over.
Dude, they were on every
you
fourth
know.
segment on Raw at a certain. It was just like you couldn't get enough of DX. It was painful for
in
me,
terms
but
of
it was
factions,
happening.
I think Evolution meant more to WWE than DX. Again, I think in terms of who's in charge now and how they can over glorify things, I think Triple H enjoyed his time in DX more than he did in Evolution.
Though. DX literally saved the WWF at the time. I mean, I like the NWO more than DX, but I'm going to give them credit where credit's due. DX saved WWF.
No, I give that credit more to Austin and Rock.
It was a combination. It was a perfect storm, but they were definitely a contributing factor. As far as merch went,
no, I'm not going to
the hottest merch sellers during that time in WWF were Austin and DX. I can tell you this because I was a senior in high school.
I mean,
and
bro,
every other person was wearing an Austin 316 or a Suck It shirt
and telling each other to suck it in high school everywhere throughout the world. I mean, that's iconic stuff, man.
And DJ, if you're gonna argue that that Evolution was, because of the people that were involved in Evolution, then that kind of dismisses your argument about, the latter part of DX.
No, I said Evolution just meant more in terms of their impact for WWE than DX meant for the
yuck.
I see. And just hear me out, because I see the impact of the two groups.
Evolution will always be the Timu Four Horsemen. I'm sorry.
And that's
Well,
all
that's
that
exactly
ever
what
was.
they were, but they just
No,
didn't.
but
They just couldn't
I
use
was
it.
to say that's what they were.
Bro,
but in the
I will
period
put-
they were the most over group and the top faction, and everything was based around them. To where when DX at their height, I'm sorry, they weren't the top. They weren't the top priority on the show.
They didn't
Austin
need
and
to
Rock
be.
were.
They were over
Or
enough where
Undertaker.
they didn't need the title.
I'll put the Brothers of
Booking 101.
Destruction over freaking the Shield, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
Brothers of Destruction, way better than the Shield.
The
So they weren't
corporation.
would you consider them a faction though?
I mean, they had what, like 10 pay-per-view main events or something?
Yeah,
8,
something like
5,
that.
something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right, but they weren't. My only question is, do you really consider them a faction though? Like you would call
Y'all
the Shield
motherfuckers
as a
are
faction?
acting like
Can
I'm
we
saying
put
the
a
Shield are the
moratorium on the
white
fucking
hot.
word faction? It's stable, for God's sakes.
I would, so Brothers of Destruction, I would classify as a type of faction just because they're big. I mean, it was Undertaker and Kane, right? You're not dealing with 5'5".
And Heidenreich. You forgot Heidenreich, so they're technically a faction.
What?
You guys are
When was
killing me.
Heidenreich part of the
That
Brothers
was
of
a
Destruction?
tag
I think you're
team,
mixing
the
it up with the
Brothers
Legion of Doom.
Destruction.
He was like a fill-in on Raw one time.
One time.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I think you're.
That's
It's the
like
same
confusing
way
Legion
that
of Doom.
means you got.
He's a
That
part of the
means you
Road
got to
Warriors.
add Yeah, exactly. You can't add Heidenreich to the freaking Road Warriors. No, just because he tag teamed with Animal for a bit doesn't mean he's part of the fucking Road Warriors.
And I don't remember. I
mean,
don't remember
technically,
seeing
the
too
Legion
many.
of Doom was not just a tag team.
I don't remember seeing
Okay, hold
too
on. On
many.
that note, though, main eventer or mid card? Kane.
Mid
Mid-card.
card.
Mid-card.
Mid card. Steal a town with him. Mid card.
He's the prime example I give of the guy who will step over the line into a main event. If you need someone to do a solid main event pay-per-view, you could put Kane in that position.
Right. You can
And
steal a town.
you could put him right back to the mid card, and then when you need to pull him out again, you could put him into a main event for a pay-per-view. But
It
he
won't
will
be
not-
fun,
real quick,
but it'll
though,
happen.
I do want to openly state, as the objective side, Kane does fit all the criteria as a main eventer. But
Right.
I can be honestly an objective to also say he in terms of his drawing power, it was definitely more of upper mid card. And in placement on the card, it was definitely more upper mid card at best. You can steal a town with him. You can use him with a main event guy without the belt,
Knoxville.
like an Undertaker, like a Batista.
I mean, he was part of DX too,
and he
right?
was a
Kane was part of
his
DX.
gimmick is what drew. But go ahead, JJ.
Kane
sorry.
was part of DX, like Heidenreich was a part of Evolution.
Here's a curveball for you. Since you want to talk about the totality of someone's career and titles held and everything, I'll ask you a question, and I'll use their government name so that it covers all aspects of who they were. Paul White.
Mid-Carter.
Bingo.
Yeah,
mid card.
Mid-Carter.
So same as Kane. Mid card.
Mid-Carter.
Yeah, I agree. Kane's a mid carder.
Because I think they tried too hard to make Paul White a Timu Andre, but they
Well,
couldn't
yeah.
make him the attraction as Andre was.
They didn't try to make him a Timu Andre. They tried to make him Andre.
Junior.
They tried. Yeah,
Literally,
literally.
that was the gimmick.
They literally had him come out
Undertaker.
wearing a peasant shirt that wasn't anything that Andre wore and said, "That's the shirt that Andre wore in The Princess Bride." No, it fucking wasn't. It wasn't even the right color.
How about Undertaker, guys?
Main
Main event.
Main
He
event.
literally had his own gimmick at WrestleMania every year that was a featured marquee match, main event.
Yep.
He was
Main
another guy
event.
that didn't need the title to be over.
He's
That was easy.
honestly, with Undertaker, he was the last real main event gimmick created. Like there'll never be another gimmick like that they can just make and be a main event
I
and
think
just work.
I think Roman Reigns is a main event gimmick, the tribal chief gimmick specifically. I think it's a main event gimmick.
So Roman's a touchy one because if you look at the beginning part, if you take the beginning of part of his career, upper mid Carter, that was shoved down our throat. But
I never thought he was.
since the pandemic, something has clicked and turned on with him, and he figured it out and got it.
Yeah,
He's got it. He
it's
knows
his
how to
gimmick,
be a
his
draw.
gimmick.
It was
He actually
even-
has a gimmick.
Here's something that it was even before the pandemic. People don't want to realize it, but it was after he left because he was fighting his leukemia. When he came back, he got the biggest baby face pop on the damn planet. And after that, he was made.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I think that people were actually, and I think it was people were actually able to have genuine emotions for Roman instead of all the manufactured ones we were trying to be forced to have for fucking years. And he was allowed to organically get over, both as Roman Reigns, the big dog coming back, and then when he switched with Paul and went tribal chief. So I think if we're looking at the totality of Roman's career, I would definitely say main eventer. He has more than enough accolades. And in terms of drawing power, the latter part of his career, the past 8 years, definitely you can prove he's a fucking draw.
All you got to say is he's going to be on the show when people buy tickets. Like, even if they know they're just going to see him say, "Acknowledge me," and walk out, people will buy tickets.
All right, I got
Also
one.
helps that you were in some
Mick
movies
Foley.
as well.
Mid Foley, he's a mid-carder.
Mid-carder.
Mid.
Yep. Okay.
Steal a
Mid.
town mid.
If you're taking the totality of his career, in every promotion he was in, he was only upper mid-card at best.
I loved watching him, but yeah, he's a mid-carder.
Really?
He's more of the wrestler. Like, again, in terms of entertainment value, yes, but Mick didn't have the drawing power. He wasn't consistently on top. He doesn't have the accolades. He doesn't pass the Roddy Piper test to me. Like I said, to me, Roddy Piper is the one guy who can get away without having the accolades, everything on paper, and that motherfucker's a main eventer. Anywhere else but even including WWE, he was a main eventer. He was their top fucking heel.
Booker T.
What would you, real quick on the Mick Foley before we move on, what about the fact that so many people turned the channel when he was going to win the world title on a tape show?
That was more because Stone Cold Steve Austin was involved in the fucking moment.
No, it was because of the moment. It was because of the moment. That was why. It was a series.
That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes wrestling is a series of
Austin,
moments. That was him stealing a town, basically.
I won't say that's because of Austin, because Austin, when Tony
Because
Schiavone
they didn't say
said
Austin. They didn't mention Austin. People flipped the channel because they went title change. Wait,
for Mick Foley,
right?
It had nothing to do with Austin. I'm not going to give
Right.
Austin credit for that.
No, I'm saying it was involvement with it helped push the Austin McMahon story. I'm giving them two credit. That issue with them was already drawing as it is.
Right, but no one knew
He-
Austin was showing up when Schiavone said that'll put butts in seats. He never mentioned Austin during that. People changed the channel because they wanted to see the moment.
And Nitro wasn't
And because
particularly
Mick Foley
good
was
that night.
over to that point and beloved.
But Kevin,
But
so
I
did
heard-
you say?
Keffa said Booker T.
I called Booker T.
Main eventer.
That's a hard one.
Tough one. He's a tough
Main
one.
eventer.
That's a hard one because WWE upper mid card, but everywhere else he's worked, he was definitely a solid main eventer. He was a name.
He was
had
world
drawing
champion
power.
in WWE. How does that not make him?
That night in
But
Seattle.
it-
That night in Seattle.
Because I take in terms of this
What night
one,
in
I'm
Seattle?
taking kind of
WrestleMania
go ahead, DJ.
19.
No, I'm asking. Oh God, here we go.
Yeah,
The
man.
pin that took forever.
I mean, I'm not hating on the match itself. It's just like, that dropped him down a few pegs. We're talking about the WrestleMania 19 match against him and
But he
Triple H, I
recovered
believe.
from that when he started doing the King Booker shit. That
took him
proved
right
that
back
he
up.
that proved he could carry a show.
Yeah. True.
I'm going to say, honestly, Booker, I'm going to say mid-card.
Oh. You're
I'm
not putting him
saying,
at the end of
it
the show,
depends on
Brandon?
where we look at it.
I'm sorry?
You're not putting him at the end of the show? He's not main eventing anything?
He's main evented, but in the same thing of like Kane, you could push him into the main event, but he was never carrying the main event by himself.
He
He
was
was
a
never
good heel
carrying
champ.
a company.
He was a good heel champ, dude.
Great heel champ, great worker.
No, I
can't say
I'm
if he
not
would
denying
sell tickets,
but
but,
I'm kind of with Brandon on this one. Only like I don't know. It's Booker T's a really touchy one for me.
He's
Because
Rick
again,
Rudish,
everywhere else
actually.
but WWE, he's easily a main eventer. And if you're taking totality of his career, I'd say main eventer. But if you're taking just his WWE run into consideration, upper mid card. Because Brandon's argument, he was never the guy featurely prominent on
he
top.
was way more
You can
over
steal
as
a
champ in
pay-per-view from him.
WWE than his 5 reigns in WCW in a year.
True. GI bro.
I put Booker T as slightly under like Edge.
Yeah,
he's going to be in that
Shit.
same category, I would say.
Hey man, he was a part of the main event.
I love
Mafia.
Booker.
Hey,
By the way.
DJ
So it's
Brooke.
undeniable
Awesome,
at this
but-
point.
And speaking of main event mafia, because DJ brought him up before, Kurt Angle.
Of course,
stop.
he
me
is.
main eventer.
Main eventer.
Yeah.
Main event.
He's a main eventer.
Next.
There's no debate.
I only brought him up earlier because I thought it would be someone would say some shit about.
No.
I don't know anyone who, people who listen to Meltzer probably thinks Kurt Angle's not a main eventer. He doesn't have enough 5-star matches.
Who
No,
gives a
that
Bullshit.
motherfucker was
Yeah, I'd like
one
to
of the
meet that
greatest
man.
talents to ever come and touch the fucking mat.
And Kurt was the guy that didn't need the title to be over.
Kurt
Right,
Angle
someone
is the
else give us
first
another
professional
name.
wrestler that exceeded all expectations. Like, he came in there, it was just like, dude, why were you on the Olympic team? You should have been a pro wrestler ever since you were 5 years
Ooh,
old.
I got a good one.
He was awesome.
I got a good one for you guys. Kevin Owens,
Mid card.
Mid-Carter.
main eventer.
How do you
The
figure
young
he's a
boys,
main
I
eventer?
The
swear to God.
motherfucker main event in
It's just-
WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Main eventer. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Name another how many other motherfuckers in the modern day business main evented WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin? Don't worry, I'll wait.
And I mean, just
First
besides
off,
that, Kevin
that's-
he's been featured in main event programs, whether he was challenging for the title, like him and Roman was a hell of a feud. He was carrying Cody during Cody's title run the first time.
Him and Jericho.
Wasn't
on,
his
bro.
first
Hold
cat-
on.
wasn't
your
it
and
own
his career's
criteria.
not over yet.
DJ,
Wasn't
by
he
your own
catapulted by
criteria.
being given the world championship? If I remember correctly,
What?
wasn't it?
It was a
handed to
dirty
him?
finish. It was a dirty
The
finish.
dirtiest
but
finish.
he
KO's
paid
It's
for
only
kinda
been
that.
world
hurt
champ
his
one
old
time.
chances.
KO's only been world champ one time. So by your own criteria earlier, DJ, he doesn't even qualify as a main eventer.
True. How about that?
He's been Ring of Honor World champ.
Someone's been listening.
What are you talking
Ring of
about?
Honor was an indie. We can't count it. I mean, because you can count NXT if you want, because he was NXT World Champ.
NXT
No, we're not
champion.
counting NXT participation trophies. We're not.
Okay, so then we can't count ROH.
He's won every other belt in the company.
Yeah, he has. He's a Grand Slam champ.
That
Same
doesn't
as
make
Sami.
him a main eventer.
Hold on. Let me add this. He's main evented WrestleMania twice.
Yeah.
Not once.
Yeah.
So-
Twice.
Yeah.
So is Cody Rhodes. I mean, he's not a main event. I still think he's upper mid card.
The
No,
Miz.
Kevin
The
Owens
Miz
is a
main
guy.
evented WrestleMania and beat John Cena.
Oh, kiss my ass. Kevin Owens is
Hey,
a fucking main eventer.
the man
Get outta
spoke
here.
truth
Hold on.
just
Are
now.
you going to
No.
say Kevin Owens is more prestigious than? And I like Kevin Owens more than Cody. But are you going to say Kevin Owens is more prestigious than Cody Rhodes? If the answer is no, then he's not a main eventer.
In if we're talking just purely their WWE careers, yes. Fuck you. Yes.
Owens is a
Way
main
yes.
eventer.
Fuck yes.
Owens is a main eventer. You can plug him in there to challenge for the title, and it's believable. Owens can win the title, and he will get a reaction. He's another guy that doesn't need the belt to stay over. He is a main eventer.
Okay, but by that argument, I'm going to use the Kane argument. Kane is the exact same way, and he's not a main eventer.
But
Kevin
Kane
Owens
was
also has been a proven draw
Right.
in multiple ways. Not
Right.
only ratings, but merch too.
right,
Again, fuck you guys. He's a main eventer. That's an
Right.
easy one.
right.
I'm offended.
I disagree with you. I love Kevin Owens, but I
disagree.
disagree.
You can disagree all you want. Facts don't like your fucking feelings.
Bro,
It's not about you. There aren't facts.
This
It's
is
literally your
opinions,
opinion.
dude. This
Yeah.
is
Kane
opinions.
Kane main evented against Stone Cold as well, and he has more belts, more accolades than Kevin Owens, and he's still a mid carder.
You can't use the same criteria for one guy and then say for another guy it's because you like him better. That's your feelings.
Dude,
Those
how
aren't
many
your
times-
facts. Those
how
are
many
your
times-
feelings.
I don't even
Somebody
like Kevin
remind me,
Owens
how
like
many
that.
times
I'm
did
just
Kane
saying
main event
objectively,
against Stone
purely
Cold?
based on his totality of his career and what accomplishments and the accolades and all the parameters we set. Kevin Owens is definitely a fucking main eventer.
No, dude, you said he's a main eventer
Kane-
because he went against Stone Cold in the main event. How many times did Kane go
15
against?
years
I said
after
'cause he main
Austin.
evented
in the modern
WrestleMania
era,
twice.
he said, though, in the modern era, like there's a difference.
Kane has gone against Stone Cold, what, 3, 4, 5 times main event?
during a time when Austin was active. He's talking about how the fact that Austin came out of retirement because he believed in this dude. Like that's one of the biggest
And those
fucking
8
rubs you can
zeros.
get.
I mean, what
Well,
is
yeah.
retirement in pro wrestling? I'm sorry. What is retirement?
I mean, Austin, there's a reason why it was a BS walk and talk match, because Austin can't take any bumps. So, but still,
Austin, fair amount of bumps in that match.
not like actual bumps. They just look.
By the way, just for the record, Kane and Austin main evented against each other only twice on pay-per-view.
okay.
Were any on WrestleMania?
no.
Huh?
The thing with Kane was an attraction, much like a few people, like Omos is an attraction. Kane is a gimmick that got over. The worker himself, and if you take if you were to have him do any other gimmick but Kane, he wouldn't draw flies.
Which
Isaac
we
Yankem.
saw.
Isaac Yankem,
Which we saw.
fake Diesel, yada yada.
Yeah,
So
and I'll take it one step further,
Kane the
JJ.
gimmick was an attraction that you could steal a town with.
And Kane, the gimmick, was reliant on Undertaker, the gimmick.
Right, exactly.
So I will say that I love Kane, and Undertaker is one of my favorite. Let me throw one at you guys. This one I think is a hard one. Vince McMahon.
What a
Main eventer.
main eventer.
That's not a hard one at all.
Yeah,
Main
that's-
eventer. He's the greatest
easy.
heel of all time.
He's
Yeah.
a heel, but he's a character. I mean, that's like me calling myself a main eventer because I was a great fucking heel manager. Like,
No, because we can make those same arguments, about Heenan, Cornette, Heyman.
right.
Heyman's-
Like,
So I get what you're saying.
I think there's an asterisk next to Vince McMahon's name
Vince was a
in this
personality,
within this conversation, because he's not a wrestler.
right?
He's so I don't think that falls under.
But he's
And
wrestled
with-
against some of the best all time.
People
Probably
were never
because he booked
paying to
himself that
see
way.
Vince McMahon. People paid to see Vince McMahon get his ass whipped on occasion,
I
but
don't
people
know-
weren't
I don't
paying to
know
see
about
Vince
that.
McMahon.
I don't know.
So,
About,
hold on. I got one personally to ask JJ, because I think he might think this one is kind of interesting. RVD,
Nah,
main eventer or mid-carder?
Mid-carder like a motherfucker.
Okay.
mid.
Dude, when he won the championship,
reason
it was just like, what the hell is going
He
on
sniffed.
here?
What do you call it? He sniffed the championship and screwed it up for himself. So we would never know how far he could take it. But in all honesty, no, he's mid.
I
Sniff,
think
you mean
because
smoked.
so the only reason I mentioned him, because if you break down his career in two halves, the WWE and the ECW.
Yeah,
ECW was definitely featured main event and prominently. He
Sure.
made that television title mean. Yes, hold on, shut
It
up.
was a
Brandon,
mid-card
listen to me for a
title.
second. He made the mid-card title just as important, if not slightly more important, than the world title. Don't come on, JJ. You got to give it to me. He didn't make it mean
It
more
was
than the world title.
It
for a
was the
slight period of
workhorse
time that he
title.
had
It was there for the work rate matches. Same as when Brett was Intercontinental Champion. Like, that's all it
All right.
was.
I'm gonna give
All
you
right,
guys
then
one.
y'all got it.
shit
I
on.
just wanted to make the argument for him,
I'm gonna
because if
give
you
you
break
guys
down his
one.
career, ECW, I would classify him as a main eventer. WWE, definitely mid-carder at best.
On the RVD conversation, I think even if he didn't get himself in trouble, he still would not. He would have been that one time,
I agree.
because it was just a perfect storm with ECW coming
Yeah.
back and all
Right.
that.
Yeah.
That he
I
was
agree.
not going to break into being a main event guy. As
Mhm.
far as his ECW run, he was a top guy in ECW, but he was not a main eventer in ECW.
No,
Because
he
by
was
that
not.
was a
question,
televised
in
indie.
fact, I will argue that Tommy Dreamer in ECW was more of a main eventer than RVD was.
True story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's
All right.
I got one
And
for you
Raven.
guys. This one I got shit on a few months ago for. So Dusty Rhodes.
Main eventer.
Don't main eventer.
Mid-card.
Don't ever say Dusty
Mid-card.
Rhodes is mid-carder. Even though we're going back into
Mid-card.
territory shit, and we're taking territory shit under consideration with this one. No, Dusty Rhodes is 100% a main eventer.
Okay, let's hear Kef's
Again,
reason
if we're
why
just looking at his
he's a
WWE
mid-carder.
run.
I'd love to hear
He's
this.
a mid-carder that comes from a mid-card generation of
Oh my fucking
all
god!
of his
you
kids
kidding?
are mid-carders. All of his ancestors are mid-carders. He is just
Descendants and all that.
So hold on, Jay. So this is one I can actually say my
Dusty
opinion.
and Dick Murdoch were one of the hottest main event tag teams during their run as heels. Don't tell
Thank
me
you.
he's mid. Okay, Dusty
No,
made
no,
the
that's
big
what I'm
gold
saying,
belt
like-
famous.
No, he's not mid.
Dusty cut the best promos on the damn planet. Even when he was doing polka dot bullshit, Dusty was so over he didn't need a title.
And again, if we're just taking his WWE run under consideration,
Which I'm not.
based on how he was presented in WWE, I get how people can have that impression that Dusty was a mid-carder. But if we're taking his entire career under consideration,
All the time in Florida.
about 85% of that motherfucker, he was either the top guy, the booker, or the champion,
Right.
or going against the
Or all
champion.
three.
What do you
Let's
think,
put it
Brandon?
this way.
In every fucking territory, Dusty was a main eventer.
If
Dusty was
he
a
would have
proven
been
draw.
in the
Dusty
WWF,
famously quoted, "Vince McMahon is lucky I didn't save my fucking money."
if he had been in the WWF at the time when he was on fire, he would have been a main eventer without a doubt.
No, Vince wanted to make him the top guy if he didn't get Hogan.
Yeah,
He was the backup option.
he was.
No, actually, I lied.
So
He was
there-
the first option.
So
Then
there
he
you
went
have it.
Hogan.
Yeah.
Main eventer.
Yeah, Dusty's a main eventer, but I have an old school one. Superstar Billy Graham.
Main eventer. What are you talking about? What
Why
are we
we
doing
going
here?
in? I thought we said we're not going into territory shit.
No, but he was
When
WWF champion.
he was in WWF for most of his time.
He was WWF
it-
champ. He was over like yes, he's a main eventer.
Like,
I
goddamn, if we're going that far back, what? Terry Funk.
Terry Funk's a
Main
main
eventer.
eventer. It's like
Main
that was never a question.
Yeah.
No, I was just throwing that. I was just saying a name.
I would argue that Superstar might be along on that line with Edge, because after that one WWF title run, he wasn't really in the main event ever again.
But it's also because he got hurt. He took time off, and then he came back and he got hurt in that one match.
Yeah, when he
never-
was the Ninja, when he came back as the
No,
Ninja
when he
guy
came
to
back,
come-
when he came back with the shaved head and the handlebar mustache and all the
Mhm.
tie dye, and it was a match on
Okay,
Superstars.
I'm
and
thinking when he
blew
came back
out-
with just the mustache
The
and he was all
precursor to
hunky
Hulk
no,
Hogan.
bullshit.
when he blew out both quads and was fucked, and he was never able to come
All right.
back after that.
Let me get back to the modern history of things.
Sure.
Let and somewhat the AEW side, so we don't get attacked for being biased. Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Mid
Main
fucking
eventer.
Carter.
Main eventer.
Jesus
Main
Christ.
The jury is out. The jury is out because if he ever gets out of there and he can prove himself, he has potential. He has potential.
He has Ricky Stark's potential.
He's a big
JJ.
fish in a small pond. Ricky is just starting down that path. Ricky got a late start in
Ricky
the
sucks.
game because Ricky got stuck in AEW. If Ricky had gone from NWA to WWE, there would be a 6-year gap where he would have found a way. And I still have hope for Ricky. I'm not saying Ricky Stark's going to be WWE champion one day, but he was late to the game, and I still think there is value in him. MJF has proven on the indies that he could draw. He has proven on the televised indie that he can draw, which is why I have not lost hope for him possibly having potential if he ever gets his head out of his ass and actually goes up north.
What
I
about
don't
Bobby
think. I
Lashley?
think if he goes, I
Mid.
think if he goes to WWE as far as MJF, I don't think he's going to be stuck in a mid card position. I think just based on who he is, he's going to be elevated to that.
Well,
upper
yeah, because
echelon.
Cody's going to be vouching for him.
I think
We just
Triple
said-
H also knows there's money to be made with MJF.
There is money to be made.
That Danhausen.
Keftis, what were you saying?
Bobby Lashley.
Or never mind. Awfuls, go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
that's all I got to say. MJF mid.
All right, Keftis, it's on you.
Bobby Lashley.
Mid.
Main eventer.
Mid.
Mid.
Main eventer.
What
What the
Main
fuck is up with the young kids today? What are you talking about,
He's main
DJ?
evented more than enough shows.
Listen, and I know I've worked with Bobby. Bobby's a super nice guy, and he has $1 million look, but he can't talk, and you can barely steal a town with him. Like, he was the lowest drawing WWE champion. Like, they put him in there with Brock to try to raise some interest. Like,
And he needed
I'm
four
sorry,
guys
he's got $1 million look,
in WWE.
but he's like. Right, he had 4. Yeah, he needed that stable to try to make himself look bigger. Like, it's just he's a super nice guy. He's got a great look. He can't work. He can't talk. He's mid.
No, so again, I think if we're looking at the totality of Bobby Lashley's career, I disagree with you guys. Sadly, he's been featured prominently enough. He's been main event. He's main evented Wrestle fucking Mania in one of the biggest matches of all time.
God, shut up!
Does not have drawing power.
Wait,
Do not bring up that
that.
Umaga bullshit with me.
Wait, that wasn't
my
a main
God.
event. That
They
wasn't
say it's a main
that was in the
event now,
mid-card.
so he's living by retcon life.
I was gonna say WWE qualifies it as a main event. I'm qualifying it too,
Retcon life
motherfucker.
Nah, get the
bullshit.
hell
Do
outta
not
here.
bring up that bullshit match in my presence.
What are your thoughts there, DJ? I mean, goddamn. So the WWE fed you
Definitely.
this
Well,
line.
definitely like in terms of TNA, definitely a main eventer. WWE, they featured him enough prominently, and he's had more than enough title runs to be classified as a main eventer. He has drawing power. He has name. He has notoriety and knowability. Come on now.
He has
if he
drawing
has drawing
power?
power, then how come AEW's fucking ratings are going?
He hasn't been featured in AEW. Where the fuck has he been in AEW?
When he
On
first showed
Collision.
up,
It's
he
not
was
his fault.
prominently featured. Did ratings go like this, or did they go like this?
Yes, the ratings actually when
No,
Hurt Syndicate
they
were
went
tag
like this.
champs, ratings were
They
definitely
went like
somewhat up.
this. No, they went like this. They went down.
And you can't
I
blame
believe
him
when they
Moxley
won
was
the tag
champion.
belts, they
Come
were
on
doing
now.
around 800,000. Now they're doing around 600,000. Am I wrong on that?
And on
That's
top
not
of it,
because the Hurt Syndicate.
Lashley only held the WWE title twice, and the second reign was under a month.
Yep.
With no title defenses.
ECW title. I'm counting the ECW title too.
Come on,
Jesus
that's not a
Christ.
world title.
Oh my fuck! You're saying I can't count that?
I can see
You can
DJ
count
smirking
it, just
behind the
don't
camera
count
right
If we have
now.
to count
You
that,
can-
then we have to count NXT. Because that's
He
all
loves this.
We
ECW.
did for Kevin
That's all
Owens.
WWE ECW was NXT.
Hold on, JJ. We just did for Kevin Owens though.
You did. Everyone else said no. You can't count it.
Again, I'm keeping it consistent. You can't say I'm not keeping consistency here. I'm being consistent.
Consistently retarded there, DJ. What's going on?
I disagree with you guys on this one. I'm sorry. Bobby
Okay.
Lashley is definitely a main event.
Bobby's a mid.
All
I
right,
can't remember
let's
one
get-
good Bobby Lashley match. Can anyone hear?
Thank you.
Yes, Umaga versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania.
Who with the president of the United States and the CEO of the company?
Microphone versus Bobby Lashley.
Exactly.
When the president threw that goddamn right hand, the fucking crowd went wild. You know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, you know why? Because he had a TV show at the time that people were watching. He got a bigger
Don't
TV
make
show
fun of
now.
me,
The
guys,
ratings are
okay?
shit for it.
I've been giving you guys everything today. Just let me have one. Fuck.
All right, you can have it.
Is that what
Don't
you
tell
say
me
when you
again
go to the Bunny
that Bobby
Ranch?
Lashley
Just give
is
me
a
one
main
fuck.
eventer. Fuck.
All right, hold on. Let's keep it to the AEW one. I think this one's gonna be. I'm gonna give you guys an easy one. The Buckaroos.
0. Not even mid. Preliminary.
They're starting to
Sucking
become
dick.
self-aware,
Wait.
by the way. They're escorting themselves off television very quickly. That match that they had on Dynamite was like, what was it, 6 minutes long, and they were like, we're out of here. So I think they know that they themselves are not main eventers at any rate in any era.
All right, so we're in agreement that the fucking joke clowns aren't even mid card. All right,
Yeah,
good.
you
How-
chose
let
the
me ask
easy
you,
one. Tried to
How
get
many
us back on your side.
how many tag teams would you say are main eventers?
Road
in the
Warriors.
modern era,
end of
very
list.
few.
Road Warriors. End of list.
Usos.
Road Warriors, right? That's pretty
Yeah,
much
Sorry,
it.
guys.
There's
I
a
gotta
reason
put
it's
them in
called
the
Road
Road
Warriors.
Warriors.
Road Warriors Midnight. Rock and Roll.
Yeah, rock and roll. Yeah,
The
they still draw
Usos?
to this day.
Hold on. Give me a second. I can actually
Would you
name
say
some
the-
names. I
Would
would
you
throw
say
the
the
Hardys in
Dudleys?
there. Dudleys, no.
Yeah, I would.
The
Well,
Dudleys,
easy-
the
it-
Dudleys and the Hardys still draw.
Dudleys and Hardys, I'd throw in there. Yeah.
You just
In
said no
modern
to the
era,
Dudleys.
In the modern era, to me, you can only throw 3 tag teams in there: New Day, Usos, FTR.
No Street
FTR ain't a draw,
Profits,
bro.
huh?
FTR don't draw.
Yeah, FTR.
I-
Come on now.
And that's
Over the Street
that's coming from
Profits?
someone who literally has 2 old school Revival t-shirts. FTR don't
I was
draw.
gonna say the revival. I'm saying the revival themselves were a draw for NXT. They
Okay,
were
no,
one of
okay,
the
no,
they
no,
were
no,
one
no.
of the reasons
All right.
those takeovers had the boom they did. Come on,
Brothers of Destruction again. The Hardys. I would
Brothers
call-
of Destruction. I wouldn't say Brothers of Destruction. Yeah, actually, you could.
I
throw them
wouldn't
in
Even
there.
though they weren't even
See,
a
to
tag
me,
team,
I
they were
wouldn't
just 2 guys.
Right, I wouldn't classify them as a tag team, though.
Right.
They're a storyline.
They
Right.
didn't,
They're-
and not even that. They didn't have enough
so
longevity.
you
Like,
guys are talking about dedicated tag teams, not singles.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, it's going to be the Dudleys. It's going to be the Hardys.
Yeah.
It's going to be Christian and Edge.
No.
Killer Bees, British
no.
Bulldogs.
Edge and Christian, no.
no, I don't put Edge and Christian in there based on the
How
totalities of their
many
career.
tag championships did they? I mean, they what, like over
During
10,
a time
right?
when the tag titles were hot potatoed every 3 days.
Between 3 teams.
Between the 3
Right.
teams that I just named, yeah.
Edge and Christian were the odd men out in that. The Hardys and the Dudleys were the draws. Edge and Christian were there to take the bumps.
And I'll consider it just based on the fact that they won singles. When for the most part,
Yeah.
Jeff, Matt and Jeff did for a little while, but for the most part, they remained a team. Obviously, the Dudleys remain a team. I mean, there was that short time Bully Ray was, singles in TNA, but for the most part, all the
And
when
when
you
Devon
talk
was a
about them, you
priest-
talk about
Edge
Yeah.
and Christian were only a tag team for a total of 3.5 years of their careers.
They
At least in
did a lot
WWE,
in those 3.5,
AEW a
though.
year.
They did a lot in that time. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Road Dogg, Billy Gunn.
When I'm saying in terms
No.
of main event tag
Road
teams,
Dogg and Billy Gunn. I forgot
New
all
Age
about those
Outlaws.
guys. Yeah.
yeah, you could throw them in there. They were a main
Voodoo
event
Kin
tag team.
Mafia.
Wait, how can you time out? I'm going to call DJ out on this. You're calling the New Age Outlaws a main event team, but you're saying that DX was not, up there.
Number one, the New Age Outlaws can't be a main event team when the 2 guys in it are not main event on their own.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. You guys got me on that one. I might have been just throwing shit at the wall on that one.
Somebody's drunk.
Okay,
But no. But
about
back,
the
back
Steiner
in terms
brothers?
of modern, in terms of terms
No.
of the modern talks, New Days, Usos, and I'm throwing FTR / the Revival.
New
in
Day
there.
were solid, but
They
not
were
main event.
they were JJ. They were nonstop draws and merch sellers for 10 fucking years.
as a unit,
on now.
but that was also as 3, not as 2.
And you got to think about the company they were doing it in. WWE does not feature tag teams prominently at all.
but they
ever.
were a
You have
they
never
were a
seen a
3-man stable. They weren't a bona fide tag team.
I would say, okay.
They weren't a bona fide tag team. They were a 3-man stable.
Would you say the Freebirds weren't a tag team?
No, the Freebirds were dude. There were more than 3 fucking Freebirds.
Okay.
Where does Demolition fall into all this? Because I'm starting to I've been looking back at their stuff.
Demolition
They're not
was
a
a
main
tag
event
team
tag
that turned
team.
into a stable that turned back into a tag team.
but they were
but
great.
they were never a main event. They were never a main
How
event.
Right, they
fucking
were-
dare you?
yeah.
Name event tag team.
What was that awful?
I mean, tag at the time. We also have to consider the time. Tag teams were not going to end any show back in the 80s or
Right.
90s, but they were
Well,
at
not
the
in New
highest.
York.
Yeah, true. But Demolition was one of those teams. It was just like, you wanted to see them face off against.
They were an
Dark Foundation.
attraction. They
Yeah,
were an
of course.
attraction until
The
the Road Warriors came along.
I mean, they rolled out the red carpet for the Road Warriors. That, in my eyes, shows me that Demolition were a legendary main event tag team.
Another honorable mention as main event tag teams, the Briscoes.
Ah,
Well,
So
we already
I've
That's
seen
established
it.
a
They
what
went to
that
the
could have
Briscoes.
been. That's a whole lot of what could have been.
right. That's like saying what the Gangsters would have done if they had
Right?
been
No,
in
but
the
we
WWE.
established at the beginning of the show that the Briscoes were. So, it holds true now.
I'm just saying, in terms of impact and what they mean to the wrestler, and they have worked with main event. It's not like
What
they
impact
just
did they
because they
leave?
haven't worked with main event talent in a main event company doesn't mean they haven't worked with said main event tag teams throughout the totality of their careers.
I hear more about the American Wolves at that time than I did about the Briscoes.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
what are we saying here?
I don't know.
I
I mean, I love the Briscoes. Don't get me wrong.
The Steiners main evented a lot. I mean, it's for a tag team at least, but I know there weren't a lot.
Probably the top 3 tag teams of all time. Let's get real. The Steiners were awesome. Main event tag team.
Yeah, the Steiners were awesome, and they were a top tag team, but they were not main eventers. Not like the Road Warriors were.
Right. Like the Wild Samoans were a bigger draw than the Steiners.
Ooh.
I'm just saying the for sure
I'm saying a lateral on that
if
one.
We can say for sure, in terms of definite, Road Warriors, Midnight, Rock and Roll. For sure.
I mean, the Rock and Roll are still a draw to this day, so I can't deny that. Like, you put the Rock and Roll on a show and people will show up.
Because FTR is going to beat them up.
Smoking guns.
No, like legit. Like, I worked like you might need to bring in both. We would just bring in Ricky Morton and people would come. The Midnight, it depends on which version of the Midnight.
No, I see. That's where I disagree. I think anywhere
JJ,
the
when you
Midnight
got to
went, they were top.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead, Uncle.
No, I say when you have to like say those types of things, they're obviously not main event. When you have to qualify like, there were 3 times.
Right.
Yeah, that's not main event. Like Demolition didn't have to go through too many transitions. Not even the
right.
Goddamn, who's the team? The Bolsheviks. Like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have to go through too many phases. They just were what they were.
Would you say Dusty and Manny were a main event tag team?
Dusty and who?
Manny Fernandez.
Manny Fernandez.
No, Dusty and Dick Murdoch. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably more so than Ray Fernandez.
All right, Kefis, finish us off with one more name.
Is he there?
I'm here.
He's thinking.
I'm thinking.
I hear him. I hear him stroking his goatee. Thinking. That doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm not going to use Hulk Hogan. Everyone knows he's one of the.
Yeah. No, I was just using the.
But I'm just trying to think of a hard one.
I got one.
I got one
too. For it.
Say it,
Go for it, JJ.
Lex Luger.
Mid
totality mid
card, but I love the guy.
Mid
card.
Mid, and I hate the guy. Mid.
Really? You don't like Lex?
I don't know.
He killed Miss Elizabeth.
Shit.
So the thing with Lex is for the early part of his career, with how hard he was pushed.
He's mid.
I think Lex is kind of in the to a lesser extent in the Roman Reigns conversation, to where the early part of his career. Just hear me out. Hear me out. At least with my comparison, and you'll understand where I'm going with it. And to the early part of his career, he was pushed to the fucking moon, and I feel like it was almost impossible for him to get organically over until the late WCW years, where it actually did kind of work more to an extent. So I'm gonna say yes, but I can agree. I can listen. Hear me out. I'm gonna concede to y'all if y'all are saying he's upper mid card at best, because I can't make an argument against it. I'm just taking the totality of his career under consideration. He was prominently pushed and featured in almost every main event angle group within the early 90s.
I can sum up Lex Luger's whole career with one video, and that's the leaked footage of the Superstars taping where they were like, let's pretend Lex Luger won the title. He stole the belt from Yokozuna. He's going to come to the ring with it. And he comes up and holds up the belt, and the crowd is just dead. No one cared.
I got a name to finish us off.
Okay. Yeah.
Sid Vicious.
Fucking Venter if I've ever seen one.
If
he was the
I wish his career was longer.
I see JJ.
Sid was always a draw. No, I'm agreeing.
Always a fucking draw. Bro, Sid reminded me, he was the precursor to a Brock Lesnar. I know the youngsters are not going to realize it, but it's just like when you saw Sid on television, it's like, oh, somebody's getting their fucking ass kicked.
Yeah.
And I was there, I've
Yeah.
seen it when it was going down. Like Sid was always a draw. You always, and that's the other thing about Sid. Like a lot of people do not want to admit it, but you wanted to see Sid Vicious in the ring.
Yeah.
He was just a draw. I can't explain
Yeah.
it. Like he was like the Brock Lesnar.
You're
And
right.
same thing with Big Van Vader as well. Like it was just like, oh boy, the atmosphere has changed when these
Yep.
guys went to the ring. It was a complete departure from everything else you had seen in the television show that you were watching, whether it be WWE Superstars or WCW main event. It was just like when Sid Vicious and Big Van Vader came out, it was just like, ooh, the atmosphere has changed.
That's fair. That's fair. I think I could agree there. I'll throw one last one if that's okay, Brandon.
Sure.
Yeah, but I just want to. So, are we agreeing that Sid is a main eventer?
Main eventer
because he
for
checks
me.
all the boxes of the.
I mean,
of what we
y'all
agreed.
talked me into it. My initial, no, but Awful talked me into it.
I mean, real quick, he's won world titles in every major promotion. He's main evented multiple WrestleManias. He's main evented more than us. He's main evented a Starrcade. You know what I mean? By all definition, that makes him a main eventer.
Intense, always ready.
Kevin,
never looked
Bill
like
Goldberg.
he looked like he was shit. Bill Goldberg, main eventer. Let's stop.
His biggest rival was softball.
Bill Goldberg
and farm chemicals.
Goldberg's a main eventer. That's an easy one.
Main eventer.
Yeah, he is.
Nothing to it. And of course, these guys were, inorganically.
I got nothing. Unless you guys want to cover Drew McIntyre, I got nothing.
Nah, mid
Not
card.
a main
Drew,
eventer.
I would say main. No,
Mid-carder.
Drew, I would
Drew's
say
a
main eventer.
Drew's a main eventer.
But at the same time, Drew
if a totality main eventer.
Drew has got that same kind of trajectory. Like he's got that same kind of energy aura that I felt with Dave Bautista. It's almost like what I can't remember who said it, but it was just like when you start not caring.
You get it.
Yeah, when you start not caring about what the fuck people think about you, you just go on a different echelon. And it's just like there was a time where I was just like, I need to see more Batista. And that motherfucker was never to be seen again. It was just like, oh man, same thing with who were we talking about?
With Drew.
Yeah, with Drew McIntyre. It's just like at a certain point, it's just like, okay, Drew's on the air. I'm watching. That's all I got.
Well, I think this
No
this was
punchline.
an awesome conversation.
Awesome.
I think this is definitely something that we could come back for a sequel for.
Listen, I just want to end on my last note. Fuck all of you. Kevin Owens is a main eventer. That's all I'm ending.
I
it on.
agree
Never
with
said
you.
he was a main eventer.
I agree with
Wasn't
you.
me.
All right,
I'm
So
with you,
fuck
DJ.
you.
awful. You want to plug something?
Sure. Last night, if you haven't checked out the This Is Awful program, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, we talked about the Night of Champions. And we also got into some JD talk, and we saw some weirdos, some AEW weirdo fans. So if you haven't seen that episode, check it out. And listen, gentlemen, this was a fucking blast. I don't really get to talk to Brandon the heel too much. I know he's a busy man. And Kefis,
He's white.
always
Just so
great
you know, Awful,
content,
he's
by
white.
the way. See, this is why I love coming on these shows, because I've never met Kefis. I saw his stuff. I saw his material. I saw his content on Twitter X. You should follow him. You guys are all logical. See, I'm more funny. Haha. You guys are geniuses. I love listening to geniuses. I always love listening to people who, really study the art of professional wrestling. Of course, JJ, come on now, man. I mean, he might be the smartest one on this fucking panel, but yeah, thank you guys for having me on here. Thank you, Brandon. And thank you, DJ. That's all I got.
JJ,
I know I plugged nothing.
Yeah. So the Full Circle Radio Network, it's at Full Circle Radio on both YouTube and on Odyssey. We are dropping the next episode of Wildcard Cinema in the next few days. He is our wrestling podcast. I'll be having an episode of that in the works very time soon. We are getting ready together to do our next episode of Cinematic Jackass, which is our B-movie watch-along series. And I just dropped a hype video for my newest fan edit. I did a edit of the movie The Cabin in the Woods that is now up. You can find the links to that all over on Full Circle Radio Network on YouTube and Odyssey.
Kefis, you got anything?
No plug. Thank you guys for having me. That's all I got to say. It's fun times as usual. Been a while.
Follow Kefis.
Follow everyone. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. DJ, of course, thank you. And follow all our socials. And, this will be up. And DJ, I think we're going to actually go live on Monday, right?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Or what are you
definitely. We
guys
gotta
doing?
react to all this wrestling shit going on this weekend.
Yeah, we're actually going to go live on YouTube and X, Twitter, whatever, to talk about the entirety of the wrestling weekend on Monday. So, this is pre-taped. This will be up at 6 p.m. on Sundays, like our regular show, but we're going to do a special live broadcast Monday to just wrap up everything that this weekend that has so much wrestling in it. But
And let me just take a second real quick, Brandon, also to thank these guys again for coming on. I appreciate you both. You guys always come in for me whenever I need y'all. And I hope
Sometimes.
y'all know the invitation can be extended the other way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't bite, only if you ask me to.
Okay.
Brendan, we'd love to
only
have
if
you on
get
This
him,
Is
only
Awful,
if you
by
get
the
him
way.
assigned.
But you seem a little too serious. We need to lighten you up. We need to, get you loosened up.
DJ will bite if you buy him a signed cornet thing.
Don't do that, Brandon. It'll be another fucking trap. Don't do it.
But thank you, everyone. And that's it for today's show.